Today, I'll be talking about the top 10 NASCAR free agents that still remain on the market for 2025 that are not currently signed for the 2025 NASCAR season. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel and welcome back to our video. While many of the big free agents have already signed their rights for the 2025 season, like Riley Herbst, Kyle Busch, Connor Zilisch, Shane Van Gisbergen, Bubba Wallace, among other people in the industry that have signed their contracts, there are still a lot of big name drivers who still have not signed for the 2025 season. So today, I'm going to go through the top 10 free agents that are still available at the moment that have not officially signed for 2025. So anyways, let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. The first driver that we're talking about today is Zane Smith. Zane Smith is not returning to Trackhouse Racing in the 2025 season, as Trackhouse will be a three-car team in 2025. Of course, they will have Shane Van Gisbergen in the third full-time seat in the number 88 car. They'll have Rajah same back in the one, and Daniel Suarez, who signed a one-year contract extension with Trackhouse Racing. And unfortunately, he's not going back to Spire Motorsports because Michael Medell will be taking over the 71 car in 2025. This means Zane Smith is looking for a ride going into the 2025 season. Zane Smith had a really strong second half of the 2024 year. In the last 17 or 18 races of the year, his average finished like an 18th position, which is better than where it was at the beginning of the year. Now, what are the most realistic options for Zane Smith going into 2025? Well, there's one really good option for Zane going to 2025, and it's Front Row Motorsports. Zane Smith has been linked to Front Row Motorsports really since this came out, really since about July or even August. There's been rumor that Zane Smith was likely going to be headed back to Front Row Motorsports in 2025, as Front Row Motorsports is still expected to expand to a three-car operation in 2025. However, with the current lawsuit going on at this moment with 2311 and Front Row Motorsports and all the antitrust stuff going on, that could affect Zane Smith's future. There have been rumors about him also potentially going to McAnally Hilgeman Racing for 2025, but Zane Smith more than likely will end up at a team like organization like Front Row Motorsports, who he's worked with in the past, won the Truck Series Championship with, and we know the Front Row is still like Zane Smith quite a bit. So I think there's a really great chance and a really strong possibility that Zane Smith will likely end up over at the team Front Row Motorsports in 2025 if they can get everything figured out in the not-so-distant future. The second big free agent that we're talking about today is Chandler Smith. Chandler Smith confirmed in a statement yesterday that he will not be returning to Joe Gibbs Racing in 2025. This year in 2024, he came back to Joe Gibbs Racing, had a very strong year in 2024. He picked up 2 victories, those coming at Richmond and also Phoenix earlier in the year, and got to the round of 8. And only had 2 DNFs throughout the 2024 season. And near the end of the year, he really started turning up the wig and only had 1 or 2 finishes in the last 10 or 11 races where he finished outside of the top 10. Chandler Smith was exceptional and really, really impressive. The reason he doesn't have a ride currently at the moment is because of sponsorship and funding. A lot of the funding that he had has kind of dried up when a lot of it got spent over at Joe Gibbs Racing. Now, where could Chandler Smith end up in 2025? Well, there was a rumor that I saw very recently going around that he could head over to RCR on a part-time basis. Time Risk Solutions on Monday, I believe, is going to be announcing some stuff in regards to what drivers are likely going to be sponsoring for 2025. He has been linked over at RCR. I could also see him going to a team like Sam Hunt Racing. I've seen people mention that Dean Thompson might be headed over there as well, but I think a team like Junior Motorsports could also be a possibility in a 5th part-time entry. But I do think at the end of the day, Chandler Smith should have something for 2025. Hopefully, he should be racing. He's a really talented driver. Someone that, while I maybe don't think could win a Cup Series championship, I think if he got put in a good opportunity, I think he could be solid. I hope he can find a ride for 2025 next year. The third big free agent that we're talking about today is Aric Almirola. Aric Almirola has been kind of out here saying he may retire at the end of 2024, but he's also saying that he's still interested in maybe coming back in 2025. It's kind of 50-50 at the moment, but he's been kind of contemplating of potentially retiring at the end of this year and spending a lot more time with this family. Aric Almirola in 2024 had a very, very strong and solid season. Picked up 3 victories, which is second most of any drivers in the field, top top drivers like Shane Van Gisbergen and Sam Mayer, and even only have one less win than Austin Hill, who of course won 4 races and made the championship 4. Aric Almirola had a really good year. And we know that Joe Gibbs Racing will have an all-star car for 2025. If Aric Almirola does make a comeback in 2025, I think it will be part-time with Joe Gibbs Racing most likely, and I think he can win a few races with this team still. Aric showed a lot of potential. It was really great to see him get the chance and opportunity to go back to a team like Joe Gibbs Racing and be successful. I think if he went full-time with this team legitimately, I think he could be a championship threat and contender. I could also see him going to a team like a Tory Racing in the Craftsman Truck Series. That could certainly be a possibility, but as of right now, we don't know what he's doing for the 2025 season at this time, but there's a chance and possibility that Aric Almirola could officially end up retiring from NASCAR and not coming back in 2025, but I definitely would love to see him come back. I know he got into it Bubba Wallace earlier this year, but I do think it'd be cool to see him come back and run some more races in 2025. The fourth big free agent that we are talking about today is Ryan Truex. Ryan Truex is still looking to find his ride for 2025. He currently ran full-time with Joe Gibbs Racing in the 2024 season, where he ended up scoring 2 victories, the first time he's won multiple races in a season in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Those coming, of course, at Daytona and earlier in the year at Dover, and generally ran up front on a week-by-week basis when he was behind the wheel. And many people have been saying that Ryan Truex should be full-time in the series next year. And I entirely agree. I think Ryan Truex is one of the most underrated drivers in NASCAR currently today. As time has progressed and went on, he has become a much more solid and a more complete race car driver. And I really do believe that Ryan Truex, if he got the opportunity to go full-time with the program like Sam Hunt Racing or Joe Gibbs Racing, I think he could legitimately be a championship contender. He is a very underrated driver. He has shown a lot of potential, shown a lot of promise, and I would love to see him get the chance and opportunity to be full-time in 2025. Again, it's all going to come down to certain things like funding and all that kind of stuff, which he's looking for funding for 2025. Hopefully that can be sorted out so we could see Ryan Truex go full-time in a series, but he is currently a free agent for 2025. The fifth big free agent that we are talking about today is Corey LaJoie. Corey LaJoie still has not officially announced what he's doing for 2025. There have been rumors he could be full-time with Ricker Racing for the 2025 season. However, there's been rumors he may also not be back with Ricker Racing, as Cody Ware has been linked to going full-time in Rick Ware's only full-time entry for 2025, as RFK will be leasing one of the Rick Ware Racing charters for 2025. Corey LaJoie, though, like I said, has been linked over to Rick Ware for the 2025 season, but he also at one point was linked to McAnally Hilgeman Racing, though we know that Dale Hemrick now will be driving the 19 truck for McAnally Hilgeman in 2025. Corey LaJoie, in my opinion, has shown some promise in the Cup Series over the years, but he did tarnish his reputation just a little bit because of how bad he ran Aspire this year. But I think that Corey LaJoie is not a bad race car driver. And I think it'd be really cool to see him get another chance and opportunity at a solid team. And I think Spire Motorsports has been showing some improvement, and they have been showing some progress as well. So if he does end up getting a ride in 2025, I think it will be with Ricker Racing most likely. I don't see a lot of really good other options out there, like a Junior Motorsports for him, which he had been linked to at one point. And I don't know if McAnally or Nice are other options out there, even Spire, which he won't be around next year with that team. I don't know what he'll be doing, but I think that there's a chance that Corey sticks around. I think it most likely will end up being with a team like Rick Ware in the 2025 NASCAR season. The sixth big free agent that we're talking about today is Parker Retzlaff. It was confirmed by a week or so ago that Parker Retzlaff will not be returning to Jordan Anderson Racing in 2025. We're going to talk about his potential replacement here in just a short little bit. But Parker Retzlaff, after winning 2 poles in the 2024 season, lost his ride because I think some stuff with Chevrolet might have been going on, but also I do think he was looking for another opportunity for the 2025 season, which I think played a pretty big part and role in this decision. Now, where could Parker Retzlaff end up in 2025? Well, there's 2 teams that have been linked to him for the 2025 season. One of those is Spire Motorsports, and the other team is Alpha Prime Racing. Daily Dare Force had reported that he might be headed over to Alpha Prime Racing full-time for 2025, while the NASCAR Rumor Nostalgia account has also reported him potentially going to Spire Motorsports. If you're looking at the two teams and options out there, if you're Parker Retzlaff, I'm going to go to the team where I have the best chance and opportunity to be super competitive, and that is Spire Motorsports. I think Spire is one of the best truck series organizations. It sounds like Chase Purdy will not be back with this program in 2025, so I think that would be a really good option for next year if it certainly became available down the road. But I think Spire should be the team that he really goes with. I think Alpha Prime, well, they've built a really good culture around them. They're not the fastest organization out there, though I think he'd be a really solid replacement for Ryan Ells if that became the case. But I think if he's in a series next year, it most likely will either end up being with Alpha Prime or Spire Motorsports in the 2025 season. The seventh big free agent that we are talking about today is Anthony Alfredo. It got confirmed a couple days ago that Chris Wright will be joining our Motorsports in 2025 in the number 5 car. This means Anthony Alfredo does not have a ride currently at the moment for 2025, which is a shame because, in my opinion, Anthony Alfredo has been very underrated this year in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. I believe he finished 16th in the owner's points this year in 2024. Won a dash for cash race and had some really solid runs and qualifying performances throughout the 2024 campaign. So now the big question is, where is he going to end up in 2025? He's been linked to going to Jordan Anderson Racing. Anthony does bring sponsorship and funding with him from Dew Wipes and a couple other companies as well, like pasta companies especially that have worked with him, have also been linked to working with him as well for 2025. I think Anthony would be a pretty big lateral move for them if they went to pick him up. Anthony is a solid driver who has shown a lot of potential and has shown a lot of promise as well in this series, and I think that he would be a good driver to go full-time with Jordan Anderson Racing. I think he could legit be a playoff threat and contender, and I think he'd be really strong if he did truly end up with this organization for 2025. But it sounds like that he may be headed over to the team Jordan Anderson Racing, which again, they're a very solid organization, all things considered. I watch for him to potentially be headed over to Jordan Anderson Racing potentially for the 2025 NASCAR Xfinity Series season. We'll have to wait and see if it does end up coming officially true. The 8th big free agent that we're talking about today is Kaz Grala. Now, Kaz Grala this year has been running a majority of this season with Rick Racing and had some really strong runs in the 2024 season. However, it kind of got confirmed in recent days that he will likely not be back with Rick Racing in 2025, and he's still looking for an opportunity for the 2025 season at the moment. Now, where could Kaz Grala end up going in 2025? Well, there's been some rumors going around as of late that Kaz Grala could potentially head over to Spire Motorsports in the Craftsman Truck Series in 2025. The last time he was in top-tier equipment was in the Craftsman Truck Series. We did, though, make some starts at RCR, but last time he was in good equipment in the Truck Series was with a team like GMS Racing in 2017, where he won at Daytona. If he gets the opportunity to go full-time with Spire, he will be a legit championship contender, and you're bringing a little bit of veteran presence. But what's crazy is he's also kind of young, too. He will be 26 in 2025, or 27 at that point. So I think Grala going over to a team like Spire would definitely make a lot of sense for me. He's got a lot of potential. He has shown a lot of promise, and I think it would be a really good move and a deserving move if he got the opportunity to officially go over to Spire Motorsports in 2025. We'll have to wait and see what happens. The 9th big free agent that we're talking about today is Brett Moffitt. Brett Moffitt is the only full-time driver, unfull-time driver, didn't make a lot of starts this year, that is not signed for 2025. Now, he did make a couple Truck Series starts with teams like Tricon Garage, and also drove the final 2 races with Hettinger Racing in the Craftsman Truck Series, along with making a one-off start with Joe Gibbs Racing in Iowa, where he qualified very well, but I think he got a flat tire near the middle portion of the event. It sounds like his future is in question, though, like it's always been, for 2025. Where could Brett Moffitt go to? Well, I think there's only one ride out there, and that's Hettinger Racing. If Hettinger Racing is looking to run full-time, which it sounds like they are going to be a full-time program in 2025, I think the best option is to go with the guy who got you a couple solid runs. I think Brett Moffitt is a very underrated driver. He, of course, won the Truck Series Championship 6 years ago in 2018. It would make a lot of sense to bring him into the program full-time in 2025, and I think they should do it personally. If they're wanting to build that program up and make that program a lot stronger in 2025, this is your go-to guy. He's shown a lot of promise, he's shown a lot of potential, and I truly do believe that if they make the decision to bring him in next year, I think they need to do it because I really think he will be able to help this program out, help it grow in pretty big ways. I think he's someone who can really help grow and develop programs. I really hope Brett Moffitt does get the chance and opportunity to be with a team like Hettinger Racing for the 2025 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series season. We'll see if it truly ends up happening. And the 10th and final big free agent that we're talking about today is Rajah Caruth. Now, Rajah Caruth, I am putting very, very low on this list because it's been heavily rumored where he probably will be ending up in 2025. Most likely will be back with Spire Motorsports, but there's been no official confirmation on that for 2025. So hypothetically, let's just say a team like Hendrick Motorsports, which he's been working very closely associated with over the last year or so, that could be a team he can go to potentially in Xfinity. It's been rumored that they might be opening up an Xfinity program over in Hendrick full-time in the future, along with opening up a fourth part-time Cup entry for 2025 as well. There's nothing been officially confirmed around that. But I think likely we'll be back with Spire Motorsports next year. Rajah is very, very talented. He showed a lot of promise this year in the Craftsman Truck Series, and he also got that win at Las Vegas as well. Also got the most popular driver award for the Truck Series in 2024. So I think that Rajah will likely be back with Spire. Everyone's been expecting this at this point, but I bring him up because it's not been officially announced at this point that he is going to be back with this team in 2025. I'm really intrigued to see what he'll do with this program, though, once again in 2025, as like I said, it's very likely that it'll be full-time once again with Spire Motorsports in the 2025 season. So, those are the top 10 free agents currently available for 2025. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. List goes below that, and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. What teams do you think these drivers end up going to in 2025? Let me know it in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, we're going to have NASCAR Cup Series predictions dropping. We'll be going through all the Cup predictions. We're going to have 25 predictions for 2025. Your predictions on people like Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, maybe Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch perhaps, maybe Junior Motorsports, maybe Connor Zilch, you name it, even Haley Deegan potentially. You might be hearing about all of that in the video as well. Got a ton of great content as well. Monday, we're going to have a NASCAR news video wrapping up news from the weekend, especially including the Formula One race at Las Vegas. And there's some other content dropping this week along with the Daytona 500 intro list video that will be dropping most likely on Tuesday. So you should expect that in the coming days. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this, like silly season stuff. Take care, everybody.